Good day everyone, this is Maya Ferlan and I'm about to discuss about the fire extinguisher together with my group mates. We have Morgan Palermo, Joseph Chan, and Kyle Shiwakram. So the definition of a fire extinguisher is it is an active fire protection device used to extinguish or control small fires, often in emergency situations, and it is not intended to use on a out of control fire such as if it has reached the ceiling. It endangers the user, like for example there's no escape route, smoke, explosion hazard, and etc., or otherwise requires the equipment, personnel, resources, and or expertise of a fire brigade. Typically, a fire extinguisher consists of a handheld cylindrical pressure vessel containing an agent that can be discharged to extinguish a fire. So technically, a fire extinguisher, it is a device, a small device, not that small, but it is a small device that can one person can carry, and it can quickly control a small fire if applied by an individual who is properly trained or who has the knowledge on how to use it. So we have different types of fire extinguisher, and we have the classification, the color on this slide. So we have class A, it has the color red and it contains a water, and class A and B, it has a color cream and it consists a foam. Class B and E, it has color black and it is a carbon dioxide or the CO2. And we have class A, B, and C, which is color blue, and it consists dry powder. So in this slide, we can see that it has the color already. So mao na siya ang different color and different classification of fire extinguisher. So you can see that in an A we have water, which is color red. In ABC, we have dry powder, which is color blue, and we have foam, which is AB, and we have carbon dioxide, which is BC, and we have wet chemical, which is AK or color yellow.
So we are now here at the types of extinguisher from class A to class F, A, B, C, D, E, F. In class A, extinguishers are used for fire that involve paper products, fabric of textile, wood-based products, plastic and rubber-based products. The type of Class A extinguisher that fall into this category are powder ABE, water, foam, and wet chemicals. So here above you can see the examples of the picture. There are the plastic products, the rubber-based products, the paper, the fabric of textile, and the wood-based products. In Class B, so fire extinguishers are used to put out fires that started due to flammable or combustible liquids. In the work environment, this could include chemical-based cleaning products, electrical contact cleaner, and lubricant used for equipment. Class B extinguishers that address this material include powder ABE and BE and foam. So ang mga kanang mga panglimpyo nga product. So example diri nasa babaw. Nay makita na nimo diha kanang mga pang clean, mga cleaner.
The Class C type of fire extinguisher are used where fire is started by flammable gases. Circumstances in which these gases are used to operate machinery could lead to a fire or probable explosion. This type of fire extinguisher used for electrical equipments. Example of these live electrical equipments are motor or the wiring or electrical panel and etc. This extinguisher could put out the fire before pressure builds and produces further events. The type of Class C extinguisher used for these fires are powder ABE and BE. This fire extinguisher ABE is distinguished by white color band around the top of cylinder, is the most widely used type of fire extinguisher suited for occurring in the house, boat, garage, car, or caravan. Next is the Class D. The Class D is combustible metal often used in laboratories, such as magnesium, titanium, and sodium. Extinguisher with a D rating are designated to extinguish fire involving combustible metals. Next is the Class E fire extinguishers stop electrical fires. These include events related to electrical equipment that requires electricity or circuit to operate. The Class E extinguisher used for electrical-based fire includes powder ABE and BE, carbon dioxide, and vaporizing liquid. And this type of fire extinguisher, the Class E is technically doesn't exist. However, this is used for convenience here, like those electrical apparatus, computer, phone charges, and etc. And lastly, Class F, fire extinguisher manage fire caused by cooking oils and fat-based product. They address fire that could occur in the kitchen setting of the workplace. Class F extinguisher includes powder BE and wet chemicals. This extinguisher is commonly used in the kitchens and canteens.
Hello everyone! The next discussion is about the parts of fire extinguisher. So, we already know what is fire extinguisher, right? Fire extinguisher is a fire protection device used to control and extinguish small fires in every emergency situations. So, fire extinguishers are everywhere. You'll find them in every places of business, schools, malls, and every place of residence. So, to use it properly and how extinguisher work, we need to know first about the different parts of fire extinguisher. So, we have the cylindrical tank. Cylindrical tank is any fire extinguisher that is responsible for storing and extinguishing agent and the propellant under the correct amount of pressure, typically made of steel. Even small tanks can be surprisingly heavy. So, cylindrical tank is the main body or barrel of the fire extinguisher. It holds to extinguish agent and expelling gases. So, cylindrical tank is made of steel. Even though it is small, heavy gid na siya sa actual gid na fire extinguisher. Next is the valve. It is responsible for controlling the flow of the agent. The valve is the mechanism connecting the carry handle and the operating lever, and around which they function. Carry handle simply that the handle allows for easy grasping, lifting, and carrying of the extinguisher. So the main function of valve is to control or regulate the flow of extinguishing agent. And the valve is connected to operating lever. Next is the carry handle. Carry handle used to carry and hold extinguisher. Trigger when press releases extinguishing agent through hose and nozzle. So carry handle, it helps us to carry and hold the fire extinguisher with ease. Next is the operating lever. The lever is a metal piece that can be pressed or squeezed to operate the extinguisher. The operating lever cannot be operated if the pin has not been pulled. So it is a metal item used to squeeze and press the fire extinguisher. Next is the pull pin. This will allow you to discharge the extinguisher. Aim at the base of the fire. So, pull pin is a locking pin inserted to the valve portion. So, it is used to make sure that the fire extinguisher is not discharged accidentally by pressing or squeezing the fire extinguisher while transporting. Next is the tamper seal. Tamper seal are plastic strips that are 9 to 10 long and wrap around the safety pin of a fire extinguisher to ensure that the pin doesn't drop out. Additionally, the tamper seals will have the date of the last service indicating that the fire extinguisher has been serviced. So tamper seal, it is a plastic material and put to obstruct the accidental falling of the pull pin. Next is the pressure gauge. Indicates whether or not the extinguisher is properly pressurized. Pressure gauge is connected to the exterior valve portion. So, para mailhan if naka-correct pressure ba siya. If the gauge arrow is on the green, pasabot ana naka-charge siya. If the gauge arrow is on the left, pasabot ana it is not charged, and dili mo operate properly. If the gauge arrow is on the right, pasabot ana overcharge and risk of explosion ang mahitabo. Lastly is the discharge hose, the hose that allows the extinguishing agent to travel from the tank to the base of the fire and enables the user to aim the flow of the agent. So, discharge hose is a very important part of the fire extinguisher because it allows the operator to target the agent's flow.
So next we have the steps in using a portable fire extinguisher. So the abbreviation PASS or the PASS means P for pull the pin on the extinguisher, or the suggestion, twisting and then pulling the pin for easy removal. And then A stands for aim the base of the fire. S, squeeze the nozzle to expel the extinguishing agent. Do not stop until all contents have been expelled. And S, sweep back and forth at the base of the fire. Note that do not turn your back from the fire. We wait for 30 seconds if safe to do so. To ensure you have to put out the fire if not done the first time to evacuate the building. Report the fire marshal and or the engineer regarding your attempt to extinguish the fire and the outcome of your attempt. So it is really important to know on how to use or to how to handle properly the fire extinguisher, especially the nozzle if you are about to extinguish a fire, so that it won't cause any accident of the person to the person that is using or is about to use the fire extinguisher. So for us to really understand the process of how to use a portable fire extinguisher, let us now watch this video.
Alert! Before using a fire extinguisher, ensure that someone notifies the fire department, alerts others about the fire, begins evacuating others from the premises. Fire extinguishers are for controlling small fires before they have a chance to spread. Before using one, make sure that you have a clear escape, you are familiar with the operating instructions of the fire extinguisher, and that the fire extinguisher you have is suitable for the fire you're facing. Before using the extinguisher on a fire, look at the fire class symbols on the front label to make sure the extinguisher you have is suitable for the type of fire you're facing. The most common classes of fires are A, B, C, and K. Class A fires involve common combustibles like wood, paper, and tires. Class B fires involve flammable liquids like gasoline and petroleum oil. Class C ratings involve energized equipment or things that are plugged in, like appliances, computers, televisions, and electric machinery. Class K fires involve cooking oils and greases, like vegetable fats. Once you've determined that the extinguisher is the correct type for the hazard, proceed to operate the extinguisher using the PASS technique to control and extinguish the fire. First, hold the extinguisher upright and pull the pin. Next, stand 8 to 10 feet from the fire and aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Do not get too close or aim the nozzle too high. Once the nozzle is aimed at the base of the fire, squeeze the levers together to begin discharge of the fire extinguishing agent. Maintain your distance from the fire and sweep the nozzle from side to side, sweeping 3 to 6 inches beyond the right and left edges of the fire. Discharge the extinguisher until contents are exhausted to prevent reignition. Move around the fire to confirm it is completely extinguished. Your quick action can save lives and protect property. Using the fire extinguisher properly is only one part of a fire safety plan. For more information and training videos, go to www.femalifesafety.org.
So now we are at the inspection and maintenance of extinguishers. So once a fire extinguisher is purchased and installed, it becomes the responsibility of the owner to maintain the extinguisher so that it remains fully operable. To fulfill this responsibility, there should be a program to provide for the periodic inspection of each extinguisher and an effective extinguisher maintenance. So fire extinguisher maintenance is specialized activity and should be performed by competent persons. So fire extinguishers are provided to protect life and property, and there should be no doubt as to their reliability in time of emergency. So in the next slide, you can see how the maintenance will go.
This is the procedure for inspecting various type of extinguisher. First, check accessibility and proper location. Second, check for the tag for date and last recharge or inspection. Third, check nozzle for obstruction and operation. Fourth, examine for corrosion, leaks at seams, or mechanical damage. 5. Check lock pin and seal. 6. Determine the full water level, pressure gauge, and weight. 7. Examine condition of hose and hose coupling. 8. Check horns for cracks, dirt, and grease accumulation. And lastly, check the date of inspection and initial of inspectors.
So that ends our report, and we do hope that you've understand or you've learned something from our report, and thank you for listening.